Spider-Man 4 is shaping up to be the darkest chapter in Tom Holland's story, and today we're diving deep into the full theory, the rumors, and the leaks that might reveal the entire plot of the next movie, expanding everything we talked about into a much deeper, much more detailed exploration. Before we jump into the dark storyline, let's fully remind ourselves where Peter Parker truly is in the MCU after No Way Home, because that context is the emotional engine of the entire movie. At the end of No Way Home, Peter made the ultimate sacrifice, choosing to erase himself from the memory of everyone he loves to save the multiverse from collapsing. MJ, Ned, Happy, Doctor Strange, every Avenger, they all forgot who Peter Parker is, and now Peter is living a lonely, isolated life inside a tiny New York apartment with nothing but his Spider-Man suit, his memories, and an overwhelming sense of guilt. He has no Stark tech, no advanced gadgets, no legal identity, no friends, no job security, and emotionally, he's at the lowest point he has ever been, which creates the perfect foundation for the darker tone that every leak and rumor continues to point toward. The leaks all say that Marvel wants Spider-Man 4 to feel like a gritty, grounded crime thriller that takes Spider-Man back to the streets of New York, and the first major rumor claims that the movie will focus on the rise of New York's criminal underworld. The leaks specifically mention Wilson Fisk, Kingpin, as the antagonist pulling the strings from the shadows. This matches perfectly with the direction of the MCU right now, especially with Daredevil Born Again, putting Kingpin in the center of a political and criminal war for control over New York. And because Peter is now living anonymously without Avengers backup, without big tech, and without help from anyone, he becomes the perfect target for Kingpin's plan. Several leaks say that Kingpin will attempt to clean up New York, not by helping the people, but by taking complete control of the criminal ecosystem, weaponizing street-level villains like Boomerang, Tombstone, and Scorpion. These villains aren't cosmic threats, they're dangerous, brutal, and grounded, which matches the rumors that Spider-Man 4 will return to practical stunts, practical suits, and street-level combat. There are even leaks suggesting that Scorpion might finally get his MCU suit, since Michael Mando's character was teased back in Homecoming, but the darkest leak suggests that Kingpin will intentionally manipulate Spider-Man by framing him for crimes, staging attacks using criminals dressed like Spider-Man, and turning the media and the police against him. This forces Peter into a darker, more desperate path where he begins to operate like a vigilante hunted by the people he's trying to protect. Without Tony Stark's legacy or the trust of the Avengers behind him, Peter's identity as Spider-Man becomes more dangerous than ever. Another set of leaks focuses on how Spider-Man 4 will explore Peter's psychological decline. Because he has lost everyone he ever cared about, Peter becomes more aggressive, more emotionally unstable, and more willing to cross lines he never considered before. Rumors say the film opens with Peter working multiple small jobs just to survive, constantly exhausted, constantly in danger, and constantly questioning whether being Spider-Man is even worth it anymore. This mental struggle becomes a major theme as Kingpin's influence pushes Peter closer and closer to the edge. According to one popular theory supported by multiple leaks, the movie will also reintroduce Oscorp technology into the MCU through black market trafficking. This opens the door to the possibility of the Hobgoblin entering the story, and because Jacob Batalon once posted a photo of himself holding a Hobgoblin figure, fans started theorizing that Ned could eventually be corrupted into becoming the Hobgoblin in a future movie. While it's unlikely Ned becomes a full villain in Spider-Man 4, the leaks suggest Oscorp weapons, glider prototypes, or Goblin-inspired tech might be sold to Kingpin's men, creating a subtle connection to the Goblin legacy and teasing much bigger things for the future. But where the emotional weight of the film truly hits is with MJ. One rumor claims that although MJ doesn't remember Peter, she begins to experience emotional flashes, moments where she feels something familiar when she sees Spider-Man. Not memories, just emotions she cannot explain. This becomes one of the most heartbreaking aspects of the story. Peter desperately tries to stay away from her, wanting to protect her new life, but he still watches over her from a distance. The leaks suggest there may be a scene where MJ is in danger, and Spider-Man saves her without saying a word, and although she doesn't recognize him, she feels a deep sense of safety that she can't logically explain. This emotional conflict becomes a major part of Peter's darker mindset. The pain of watching someone he loves forget him, combined with the fear that even if she remembered, her life might be worse with him in it. Throughout the movie, Peter continues battling Kingpin's rising army of enhanced criminals. Tombstone becomes one of the major enforcers, Scorpion becomes the physical threat, and Boomerang brings chaos to the streets. But the biggest fight comes in the final act, where the leak leaks claim that Spider-Man will face Kingpin in the most brutal confrontation ever put on screen between the two characters. Kingpin is not a superhuman, but he's strong enough, powerful enough, and ruthless enough to push Peter past his breaking point. One leak describes a scene where Spider-Man nearly kills one of Kingpin's men in a moment of uncontrolled rage before pulling back at the last second, realizing he is becoming what he fears. Another leak says the final battle includes Kingpin nearly unmasking Spider-Man on live television, only for Peter to narrowly escape. In the climactic battle, Peter exposes Kingpin's criminal operations, weakening his political and public influence, but not completely defeating him, allowing Kingpin to return in future MCU projects. The movie closes with a painfully quiet ending. Peter accepts that the world may never know who he truly is again. MJ sees Spider-Man swing across the city, and for a brief moment feels that strange emotional echo she cannot name. Peter watches her from a rooftop, heartbroken but proud that she's safe, and finally swings away into the night, alone but determined, fully committing to being the anonymous protector New York needs. Spider-Man is truly starting his brand new day era, a darker, lonelier, more grounded journey, setting up future movies involving Kingpin's revenge, the evolution of the criminal underworld, and the eventual rise of the Hobgoblin. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more Spider-Man 4 updates. Big things are coming. Don't miss out.